After a long Four Nations face-off hiatus, which saw my Team USA fall short, just one goal short of taking home the Four Nations face-off trophy to Team Canada. After that long break, we are back. New Jersey Devils hockey is a mere 2 hours away. I'm fired up for it. I'm still reeling and exhausted from my Boston trips and the week and a half or so, however long it was, 2 weeks of Four Nations face-off hockey overdose. Could someone just confirm that you could hear me? Actually, I forgot to do that just in case in the chat. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? You guys are slow in the chat today. Thanks, Traveling Devil. Devils back in action tonight. Captain Nicohischier makes his return. Finally, we will have, if not close to a full lineup forwards-wise. I'm trying to think. Is anyone? I think that's it. Our full forward group should be in. For the first time in a while, we were down Nico. Obviously, a huge loss for the New Jersey Devils. We are still without Jacob Markstrom for an undetermined amount of time. I don't think we're going to really know the real deal with him until we see an announcement at some point, hopefully in the next week or two, that he is in fact starting a game. Might be a little bit more for him, but Markstrom back on the ice practicing, a good sign. And the captain is back tonight, and this one is huge, guys. The Dallas Stars are a great hockey team, and this is going to be a good test for the group coming off of the break. Obviously, Halla, Bratter, and Jack involved in the tournament playing. Maybe they'll have some extra jump that some of the other guys won't have. And we'll see. Tonight, Jake Allen going to have to stand tall. I would love to see my boy Timo Meier get back to his scoring, punishing ways. And we're going to see, what will this break have done to the New Jersey Devils? We saw the last Christmas break was a house of horrors. We came out of the break and the season didn't fall apart per se, but it took a left turn. We were looking so damn good going into that break, and it's been quite a deviation from that since. The calendar year 2025 has been unkind, but hopefully late February and March are the month of the Devils, because we are absolutely going to need it. Would love to see Jack just dominate tonight. A lot of you, I'll get to the comments in a minute, are talking about his performance in the Four Nations face-off. And if I'm being honest, I don't think he was remotely as bad as many are saying. And I don't think he was particularly good either. I said earlier in the chat that I gave him a C grade, which I think is fair. I think a lot of people are extreme both ways. There's people saying how amazing he was. I mean, that clearly wasn't the case. And then there was people saying he shouldn't have been on the team, and he was clearly the worst guy on Team USA. I think that's far the extreme other way. I think a C is a fair grade. He had that assist in the Finland game. He had some other nice passes to set guys up that couldn't finish. I remember particularly, I think it was the Sweden game on the power play. I think there was a couple posts hit, but he was dishing during that game, had set some guys up pretty nicely. But in the end, overall, many people are echoing the same sentiments, which, you know, your boy has been saying for years before I even had this channel to my Devils fan friends, and something that I constantly preach: heavier, edgier, more violent wins hockey games. And unfortunately, Jack Hughes is not heavier, edgier, or more violent, and it's something that he is going to have to figure out. I do not think he can continue to, avoid contact at all costs. I mean, this is a physical sport. Getting hit is part of it, and if you play scared of contact, it's not ideal. There was a couple times in the championship game where it seemed like he peeled away, or I saw like a little maneuver where it looked like he was deathly afraid to get hit, and it's something I've been talking about forever, and that's one of the many reasons why, again, for at least a year on this channel, or a year or so, I said that I wanted Brady Tkachuk desperately. And now it seems like a lot of Devils fans and fans of other teams have now recently, or just all of a sudden, discovered the freakish talent that is Brady Tkachuk. I mean, he was probably USA's best player throughout the tournament, scoring goals, hitting guys left and right, just punishing hits, obviously involved in the fisticuffs in that first matchup with Canada, and that is a guy you win with. Brady Tkachuk is an absolute dog, and he's my favorite player, my favorite non-Devils player in the league, and for his style of play. I mean, a chip off the old block, Keith Tkachuk, NHL legend, and his kids are animals, and that doesn't happen by mistake. Brady Tkachuk is an absolute beast. And, if someday, somehow, he does decide to move on from Ottawa, unfortunately, I do think he will go to the Panthers. But if he's ever actively being shopped, I do hope Fitzy's at least in the mix. But back to Jack Hughes. Yeah, I mean, I think he wanted to bulk up a little bit this past offseason. He had that surgery, and so I think that kind of shelved him from doing any sort of training. But the reality is, in physical warfare hockey, he's going to be uncomfortable, and it's something he's going to have to get used to. Obviously, he doesn't have a extensive playoff record. He's played in 12 playoff games. He's gotten 11 points, and that's what a lot of the Jack Hughes, praisers will point to. And it's a fair point. I mean, again, aside from the physicality of this Four Nations tournament, you are going up against the best players in the world every single shift. So it is not truly reflective of the playoffs. The physical element, to some extent, I believe, is, an indicator of the playoffs. But you're not going to be going up against world-class defensemen every shift either. And that was the case throughout the tournament. I mean, these are some of the best players in the entire planet. And in a physical game like that against the top guys, I do think he struggled a little bit. Again, I don't think it was nearly what a lot of people are making it out to be. And then there's people that were saying how amazing he was. There's both sides or extremes. And I think the truth kind of lies dead smack in the middle, where I gave him a C grade. I thought he looked good at times, and I thought he struggled at times. And that's something hopefully that he can improve on with age. Hopefully some size and strength gets added, because that's desperately needed. But you guys have to remember, the kid is only 23 years old. I mean, God, super early still in his career. Yeah, he's been in the league for a while, but he came in at a young age. I do think his prime will probably be those like 26 to 29, 30 years. But he definitely got to get bigger. And definitely have to figure out how not to be allergic to contact, because that's just a recipe for disaster. But hopefully we see him come flying tonight, looking to, I'm sure he's heard some of the things people are saying about his tournament. I'm sure he has caught some of it, and it probably bugs him. And hopefully he plays the chip on his shoulder tonight and has something to prove. Would love to see him score tonight. Hopefully Bratter's flying. I thought Bratt looked great in the tournament. Bratter, I've said for forever, definitely one of the most underrated players in the league. And Bratter is just Mr. Consistency. He looked like he belonged the entire time he was there. Got that game-winning goal against USA in that meaningless game on my days are all Monday night in Boston. I was there for that. I saw Bratter score that. But hopefully everyone comes out flying tonight. Hopefully Timo gets it going. And now we will see what you guys are talking about in the comments. Brian J., I'm hoping Jack's lackluster Four Nations performance doesn't continue into the home stretch. Watching him get bodied and shut down was hard to watch. McKinnon decked him twice on one shift. I was like, my God. And one of them, I think, was an open ice. And one was like behind the net. He just crushed him twice. The poor guy was flying. Brendan plays. At Running with the Devils, was it only me who thinks Jack played well? He was so good defensively. He created great chances that others didn't finish. His issues are physicality, not shooting. And I kind of just touched on all that a minute or so ago. I don't think he played well. I don't think, okay, I think it's fair. That's why I gave him the C. Bratt had a good tourney. Yes, he did. Bratt is the real star on the Hughes Bratt extra line. Bratter has just been a complete beast. Love me some Bratter. Underappreciated across the league, and I think to some extent by Devils fans. Pro Bowl forever. Hope tonight's a good game. I hope it's a Devils blowout, so that wouldn't be a good game, but I guess a good game in terms of the outcome. I just need to see a win. We need a win, and we got 25 games left. We got to start banking points. Teams are going to be hot on the trail, and your New Jersey Devils have to find a way to probably win at minimum 15 of these last 25 games. Obviously, more than that would be great. I'm just looking around. Oh, man, Washington's crushing Pittsburgh. I'm looking at the out-of-town scoreboard here for the first time in a while. Carolina in action against Toronto. Montreal, Ottawa. Some interesting quotes before that game. I saw Jack Guy, Wi-Fi, was saying he was going to beat the crap out of Brady Tkachuk. So we might see some little fight highlights coming out of that one. Traveling Devil, Jack got a taste of high-level play. He needed it. He needs to figure out how not to get shut down, because if he isn't shut down, he is good. Yeah, but that's the thing. Can you not get shut down rather? Meadowlander, serious question about Jack's play. The Chickless crew said it looked like a boy amongst men. And in reality, he is. He's 23 years old. I think he may have been one of the youngest players in the entire tournament. And at times he looked like it. But again, I do believe he's a good player and he just has some things to figure out. And one of them being, how is he going to get bigger and stronger? Traveling Devil will have to see how he does on the international ice with more room. I just found out a couple days ago that, in fact, Traveling Devil, the Olympic ice in Italy is going to be NHL-sized rinks. So he will not have any extra room. He's going to have to get it done on the NHL rink. Dire Straits, the stuff about Jack has been said here in the comments for months and months now. It absolutely has, for sure. Well-documented history of most of us talking about how, he needs to step up in the physicality department, and that it's been a concern of a lot of the people here, and rightfully so. And it was, I don't want to say element, I guess, yeah, it was kind of an element or talking point of his tournament. I mean, you saw it. There was no denying that, he struggled. Dire Straits, you can be small and still be a gritty player like a Gianta or San Luis. I just don't see that with Jack ever happening, unfortunately. I don't think he'll ever be gritty, but I think he could definitely be, much tougher than he is. I don't think he'll ever be classified as gritty at any point in his career, but he doesn't need to be. It just needs to be, yes, the bar has to be raised from what it is now. And right now it's literally like no contact at all. And it's hard to play that way. And when you're playing scared, sometimes it looks like he is. Recipe for disaster. Dire Straits, Gianta and San Luis were built like little tanks. Just seems to be built like Kate Moss. Oh, boy. Brandon, I haven't been following the Devils lately. Is Markstrom back? Markstrom is back to practice. He is not back for game action as of yet. No clarification on that as of yet. I am hoping he's back sooner than later. Obviously, Markey was playing at a Vezina caliber level before he went down with that injury. He was arguably our best player for the season before he went down, and hopefully he's back sooner than later. But in the meantime, Jake Allen has shown he is capable. I've said that I've been confident in Jake Allen. He had that nice shutout in Montreal, and he's got to stay in there and find a way to win these games. Hopefully the team doesn't look rusty tonight. I'm very curious to see what we're going to look like. But, it's not something conducive to the Devils. Every team in the league, for the most part, aside from their guys that played in the tournament, are going to be a little rusty. And the teams that can kind of get their legs under them, shake the cobwebs and get going early, are going to win these games tonight. A lot of interesting games out of town. Traveling Devil, people talk shit about the guy, but it's not his fault. He's small and doesn't want to get hurt. Guy's been dealing with a reoccurring injury from early in his career. I'm sure it's in his head. I'm sure it is. But at some point, he's going to have to tune it out because, if you're playing to avoid contact at all costs, you're at a disadvantage. Dire Straits, I get that, but at the same time, the type of hockey he plays is just not conducive to winning in the long run in the playoffs. When the games get tighter, he needs to be heavy on the forecheck. And I don't see him ever changing his style of play. That's a big issue, in my opinion. I don't think his style of play will change dramatically. Dramatically at any point. Oh my God, the game's at 6 o'clock. I didn't even realize that. What the hell is that? Oh, wow. Oh, this is going to be a short one. I want to see the pregame and stuff. Thank you for pointing that out. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. 6 o'clock game. That is so bizarre. But he has to embrace getting hit a little bit more than he does now. Traveling Devil, put players around him that will play like that. Yeah, again, a guy like Brady on his wing. I mean, God, I'm tired of talking about it, but even a poor man's version of Brady. But Brady, Jack, and Bratter would be one of the craziest lines in the league. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But the Devils have to bite the bullet with him. I don't know what that means. They're never trading him. I don't know why people even talk about this. The New Jersey Devils are all in on the Jack Hughes business, or the Hughes business, I should say. And he's not getting traded anytime soon. Brandon, at the end of the USA versus Canada game during the handshake line, I was waiting for Jack for a while, and then he appeared on the screen. He was close to the camera. Holy man, is Zero muscle. You guys are brutal. Looks like you could grab Jack by the jersey and push him around with no effort. I mean, dude, he's small. He probably weighs like, I'll see what they have him listed as. Realistically, he might not even be 170. They have him listed at 175. I don't buy it. But yeah, he's small. This is not a surprise. And he obviously looks smaller next to big guys. Ryan Johnson, hockey is Canada's sport. Woo. Enjoy it for now. USA will be locked and loaded, coming for revenge next year in Italy. I am super jacked for that. Going to be an exciting Olympics. And I think, if nothing else, that the home run that this Four Nations tournament was for the league. I mean, wow, the league has gotten so much publicity and, everything else you could want. Eyeballs, articles, people talking about this. It's been a complete win for the league. And hopefully it kind of bleeds into next year's Olympics, because we are going to see an amazing tournament with all the nations, or at least the nations that qualify, involved. Alex, I'm currently skating on a lake right now. Very nice. Jeff, glad to have our centers back. God help us with that Hughes and Nemitz pairing. Oh, boy. Hopefully they look good. Yeah, the game is at 6 o'clock. I don't know how I missed that. James, Nico, hopefully that motivates the boys to kick some ass. Absolutely, and hopefully we win some faceoffs tonight. Nicohischier back in the lineup. NJ Swamp Fox, Jack needs two bruisers, one of whom can snipe. Keep Bratt and Meyer with Nico. It's interesting to see if we're going to see the peanut butter and jelly kind of breakup experiment. But yeah, I would like to put a big body with Jack. I mean, I've wanted that forever. What's going on, Nicole? We're here, and you should be too. We're ready to get back to it. I am ready. I thought about going to the game tonight, but I am just dying. Long story short, it was a very intense Boston trip. Oh, if you haven't seen it, obviously, check out the channel. I have a bunch of videos out from the Four Nations tournament. I have a bunch more coming. I talked to Keith Kachuk. That's a pretty decent video, I thought. There's a vlog. There's some warm-up videos. I have another couple vlogs and videos in the works. All this stuff takes a lot of time, but if you haven't seen it, check it out. Head over to the channel. Lots of Four Nations coverage. Talk to Jay Pandolfo. That interview will be coming out at some point fairly soon. Always awesome talking to Jay Pandolfo, two-time Cup champion with your New Jersey Devils. Tyler, Rangers fans bitching about Hughes when all four of their players have the same amount of points as Hughes in the tournament. Yeah, it wasn't a great showing for the Rangers, for sure. For sure. Michael, Jack defined mediocrity in the Four Nations. He wasn't bad, but he wasn't good. He absolutely should try gaining some size in the offseason. Yeah, a lot of people have been wanting that to happen for a while, but we will see. If he's not injured, he had that surgery and he probably wasn't able to hit the gym. Woodson, we've talked about Jack in size for years now. Brad has evolved to play in a contact league. Jack hasn't. Bratter is much more solid than Jack. While he's not a big guy either, he's just more of a compact little tank, versus Jack is just, he's kind of frail at the moment. Hopefully he beefs up. Jeff, Brady will not spend his entire career in Ottawa. No way, no how, but I don't think we'll get him, unfortunately. I could see that too. I think he's definitely going to try to get to Florida, which would be, man, the Bash Brothers in Sunrise, Florida. What a treat for Panthers fans. Marta, Jack needs to put on some weight, but he needs to be healthy in the offseason for that. That is absolutely correct. Dire Straits, Jack was healthy in the 2023 offseason and did not bulk up at all. SST, Devils will always suck with Jack despite his 90 points every year. Trade him for Tage Thompson, a second-round pick. He's not getting traded. I can't even entertain this stuff. You guys are brutal. Woodson, he's just a small frame guy. Not much you can do to change your DNA, even with the gym and nutrition. Yeah, but you could put on some pounds. It's not impossible to get a little bulk. Tyler is only 23 and he will only get bigger. He's not even in his peak prime. I agree with that, but he's going to have to work at it. She's not going to just wake up one day and be, 10, 15 pounds heavier. You guys are brutal in the comments. Woodson, Jack's not a shoo-in for the Olympics next year after that showing. That's where I disagree. I think he's a deadbolt lock, man. Billy Guerin will take him every time. He is explosive and a threat every time he's on the ice, but I hope he learns from this tournament because obviously not a great showing, as everyone pointed out. Jackie must work on his leg muscles. If you have strong legs, the upper body isn't that important. I think that's where Bratter's got a solid base. I agree with that. Your upper body doesn't have to be crazy strong, but you have to have a solid base. Legs, core, got to be able to dig in, take the hits. And, man, I can't believe the game's at 6 o'clock. That threw me off. I would have made this live earlier. But Robert, what's going on? Old man Rob here. I've said it on here before, and I'll say it again. Devils fans, keep the faith. Our team will get there. I hope so. But I've been saying this shit for over a decade, Rob. Chico, Jack was fine in the Four Nations faceoff. He was good defensively. He deferred a bit too much, in my opinion, but also seemed like his teammates didn't trust him with the puck much. Lower body strength is where Brad has improved over Jack by miles. I 100% agree with that. Jeter Toker, I love Jack, but watching Brady and Matthew heavy on the forecheck every shift, that's how you win cups. Guys, for the last time, or not the last time, the last time today, I've been beating a dead horse. The Kachuk brothers are animals, absolute dogs, and those are the guys that this team desperately needs. I do think the team overall is still way too soft. We got Nason, Dylan, Kovacevic, Cotter, in the offseason to bring some of that grit. But in reality, those are the only guys that are gritty. Timo is as well. But it's basically all the new guys we picked up. We need a couple more of them, and hopefully Fitzy is, looking to bring one or two of them in before the deadline. Devil 31. Is Timo going to get going? I hope so. Traveling Devil, according to Google AI, the ice. All right, hold on. Let me show you what I sent. What I saw traveling. Don't always believe Google AI. I'm just trying to copy this link for traveling. They pulled this from, I don't know, but if you put it in, I'll paste this. But if you just put in Google, what the hell did I put in? I don't know what I put in. But poke around, you'll find it. Traveling Devil. I wish it was an Olympic rink too, but they're going to be NHL rinks. Yeah, put in like what size is the rink for the 2026 Olympics, and you'll see there's tons of references to NHL ice, NHL sized ice. Oh, now I'm behind. You must have found it. Why did Jack make that comment about Brady for fighting him? I'm not sure. There must have been something behind the scenes. I don't know the backstory, but I am looking forward to see if anything happens tonight when they finally, when the game's over, when all the stuff comes out. I'm not worried about Jack. He's literally a carbon copy of Patrick Kane. That guy was pretty good in his prime without being touched and physical, I'm pretty sure. I think Patrick Kane had a little more of a dog in him than Jack Hughes did, or does. I never thought that, Kane was a smaller guy, but I never thought he was like a complete pushover. Woodson, Devils are in the losing business if we are committed to the Hughes. Ace loves losing for decades. No, I don't. But I don't own the team, bro. And I'm not the GM either. I'm just a guy on YouTube. But I'm telling you, they're not trading the Hughes brothers. I mean, that's for you to believe that they might is kind of lunacy. You have to understand how the world works. And the New Jersey Devils, the Harris Blitzer Sports and Entertainment Group is all in on the Hughes business. It is what it is. I have no say in the matter. Neither does anyone else other than ownership. And they are all in. Meadowlander, on a positive note, today is the 45th anniversary of the day of the 1980 gold medal game versus Finland. Death to Kong. Jack Slander is ridiculous. Dude is the most prolific scorer we've ever had and played well in the playoffs. Even lost a tooth. I don't know about, I mean, I think that's a little excessive. Most prolific scorer. I can't agree with that one. He's in the top group of scorers, but most prolific, I can't, you know, even if you're talking about on a one season basis, the most prolific goal scorer would be Brian Giunta with his 48. And then in terms of just a pure goal scorer, I think we've had, you know, at least a couple that were kind of above him. I would even put Kovalchuk above him. Some people might say that that's, you know, blasphemous, but Kovalchuk was a beast. Jack Hughes will not be Jason R. Not trying to turn him into that. Will fail and sink this team. You have to accept Jack for what he is and give him line mates that compliment him. Yeah, I don't think anyone's trying to drastically change his game, but it's got to kind of evolve a little bit. Woodson says our most prolific scorer we've ever had. Oh, my God. Ace just doesn't want to say anything about the Hughes brothers because he wants interviews. You can't blame him. It's a good business move on his end. That's not true. And I if I had to bet money on it, I'd believe I'd never interview a Hughes brother, and that's fine. I don't really care about that. But I am completely realistic in the fact that you have to realize the franchise is all in on the Hughes brothers. It is what it is. I'm not saying I agree with it. I don't say that I agree with ever kind of making guys completely untouchable forever, but I think that's the situation that we're looking at. Mark, what do you think our chances are of getting Rantanen? None. The chances are none, and I don't want him. I don't want Rantanen. Not the right guy for this team, I believe. Speaking of Pandolfo, how cool is it that he presented Bratt with the player of the game after the U.S.-Sweden game? That was pretty cool to see Pando out there on the garden ice. Tim, will Team USA get revenge on Team Canada at next year's Winter Olympics and their first Olympic gold since the Miracle on Ice back in 80? I hope so. I certainly hope so. And we'll see. All right, guys, that's it. I got to watch the pregame. We'll be back after the game. I messed up. I would have made this earlier. I didn't realize the game was 6. I mean, what the hell is 6 o'clock? I don't know. But I'll be back after the game. Thanks for popping out here. Hopefully the Devils win. Hopefully Jake Allen stands tall. Would love to see Jack and Bratter get flying. Hopefully Timo Meier gets it going. And I'll be back after the game. Check out all the Four Nations videos on the channel. I got more stuff coming out. Always got stuff in the works. Hit that thumbs up on the way out. And let's go Devils. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.